Okay, good morning class. So at this point we're looking at the November paper 1 of 2021. This is last year grade 10's paper. Okay. So this is our third video, so we should be coming to the last third of the paper. So you're busy with graphs and then the probability section that is left. Okay. So we are told that in the figure, below, the sketch of the graph of f of x is equal to a over x plus q, whilst g of x is equal to mx plus c. I'll give it c, which is 4, and 3 over 2 is a point of the graph of f, so that is somewhere there. Okay, the graph is not too clear, and a is the point where f and g intersect, which is that point there. The angle between g and the x-axis is 45 degrees, which comes in at that point there. So the asymptote of f and the x-axis, the asymptote of f are the x-axis and y-axis. So that's where we're at. We'll just scroll this up. So we're told, the first question says, calculate or write down, the gradient of g. Now, if g of x is this line with an inclination of 45 degrees, that means to say that the gradient is 1. If the gradient is 135 degrees, which means to say the gradient is going this way. Okay, then that's going to give you, if that's 135, the gradient of this line will be minus 1. Okay. So if you've got the gradient of 45, which means to say the rise and the run is 1 over 1, which is 1. And the other direction is going to be minus 1, of course. Okay. So what's the gradient of g of x? The gradient is 1. What is the equation of g? So since g is going through the origin, which is 0 there, so c is 0. So the gradient of g of the equation of g of x is y, g of x is equal to 1x. Okay. So I'm going to replace this equation with g of x is equal to 1x. Okay. Let's look at the next question. In 5.1.3, the question says, determine the equation of f. Now, f, as we know, the horizontal asymptote and the vertical asymptote is 0, which then makes q 0. Okay, so f of x is equal to, so f of x is equal to a over x plus 0, which is 0. Now, there's one unknown that needs to be solved here, which is a. So I'm going to substitute the point that's lying on this graph, which is c, which is 4 and 3 over 2. Again, that's an x and a y. So f of x is a y, so it's going to be 3 over 2. Is equal to a over x, which is 4. We cross multiply. So 3 times 4 is 12 equals 2a. So a works out to be 6. So what's the equation of f of x? So f of x is simply 6 over x. So f of x is 6 over x. Okay. Then the question says, determine the coordinates of A. If A is the closest point to the origin. But what is A also to us? Point of intersection. Not so. So that would have been the root 6 and the root 6. Okay, but say we didn't know that. Okay. Then, with the point of intersection, what we do is say the two graphs equal to each other. So 6 over x is equal to x over 1. Cross multiply, get x squared is equal to 6. If I introduce square root, I must not forget plus minus, so x is equal to plus minus 6, root 6. But if you look at where a lies, a is in the first quadrant. Is x ever negative in the first quadrant? No. So therefore x is going to be the positive 6. Okay? So x is equal to 6. Then to calculate the corresponding y value, you substitute that either into f of x or g of x. G of x is equal to x. So y is equal to root 6. So a is going to be root 6, root 6. Okay. Look at the next question. Right, so we didn't need to take that off. The next question in 5.2, we are given that m of x is equal to 1 over 2 x plus 2, which is a straight line, and nx is equal to 2x, 2 to the x minus 1. So we got a straight line, and we got then, what's the name there, an exponential function. Write down the equation of the asymptote of n. So this will have horizontal asymptote and a q value of -1, or horizontal asymptote of -1. That's y is equal to -1. Then it says sketch the graph of f of m and n on the same set of axes. Clearly show all asymptotes and intercept with the axis. So we start off, I'm going to start off with the graph of n of x. Firstly, we're going to have an asymptote at y is equal to -1. So what do we do then? We then say x-intercept, let y equal to 0. So we've got 0 is equal to 2 to the x minus 1. You take it over, becomes positive 1. So 2 to the 0 is 1. So 2 to the x. So therefore, x is equal to 0. Which is this point here. Okay? Now you're going to work out your y-intercept. You're also going to get 0. Not so. So what do we do to generate another point on this graph? Because normally we have at least 2 points on the graph. Not so. Other than hyperbola, 1 is a 5, so we have 2 asymptotes. So what do? We let x equal to 1. So we'll have n of 1 is equal to 2 to the 1 minus 1, which is 1. So the graph is going through 1 and 1. So if x is 1, y is 1. So there's your exponential function. Okay. On the other hand, we're going to look at the straight line graph. So firstly, for m of x is equal to half x plus 2. Y-intercept, what do you do for y-intercept? Let x equal to 0. So m of 0 equals a half times 0 plus 2, which is 2. Okay? Then we have our x-intercept. What do you do for x-intercept? Let y equal to 0. So 0 is equal to half x plus 2. So half x is equal to -2, or negative half x is equal to 2 divided by half x is minus 4. This is approximately here. We take a ruler and we draw a graph. There we go. This is the graph of m. This is the graph of n of x. Okay. Then the question says, using a graph, write down the coordinates of 1.
Your attention please. Please take note that it is lesson 3 now. There is no break. It is lesson 3.
Okay, so the question says, using a graph, write down the coordinates of one point of intersection of m and n in the first quadrant. So that means to say that this graph is going to be extended here, of course, and this graph, of course, is also going to be extended. So somewhere here is going to intersect. Definitely not at 1. Not so. So we're just going to do by a process of elimination and see. So let's check at 2. We must substitute 2 into. We must substitute 2 into here. And in the end, I get the same values, and that's the point of intersection. Does it make sense? So if I say m of 2, then it's going to be a half times 2 plus 2, which is 3. Not so? Am I right? And n of 2 is going to be 2 squared minus 1, which is 4 minus 1, which is 3. So what is the point of intersection? It's going to be 2 and 3. Now coming back to the question here, it says using a graph, write down the coordinates of one point of intersection. So therefore it's going to be 2 and 3. Now my graph is not drawn to scale, but you guys' graph would have been a bit better because I'm using a ruler and all of those things. You would have noted that would have been that point. Okay? Now say for argument's sake, 2 didn't work, then what would you have done? I've tried 3 and so on and so on. Okay? Otherwise, if it's going to go into fractions and all of that things, I would never think they would say use the graph to return. Does it make sense? So it wouldn't be a difficult calculation. The next is write down the equation of h of x. If h of x is a fraction of n of x, then let's get the n of x graph. It's going to be 2x minus 1. So n of x is equal to 2x, 2 to the x minus 1. Okay. It's a reflection of n of x along the y-axis. So if something is reflected along the y-axis, what happens? X becomes negative. Not so. So x and y, x becomes negative. Okay. So as you can see, there's an x. So we say y, and remember n of x is a y. So y is equal to 2 to the minus x minus 1. But this is the graph of h of x. So h of x is equal to y is which is equal to 2 to the minus x minus 1. You can write that as 1 over 2 raised to the x. Why? Because 2 to the negative 1 is 1 over 2. Not so. So this could be written as half raised to the x minus 1. Either one will get you the full mark anyway. The other question says, what is the range? What is the range of m of x? So what is the range, people? Range all possible y values. But if you look at m goes all the way to negative infinity and positive infinity. Can you see that? So what do we say? What's the range of that? Y is an element of yes. Y is an element of all real numbers. So all the values for y exist on that axis. Okay? Confusion there? Huh? No? In question 6 we are told, sketch below are the graphs of f of x equals ax squared plus qx. So again I'm going to draw this here. So I'm going to move the graph up a bit. So it's ax squared plus q, while g of x is equal to mx plus c. Okay, what's that? I'm going to make this a bit smaller. Alright. Let's look at the first question. First question says, determine the equation of the graphs of f and g shown above. Okay, just remember in this description box that there will be a link to the question paper. Okay. Determine the equation of the graph of f and g as shown above. So if you're looking at f of x is the parabola, not so. You're going to go with the parabola first. So f of x is equal to ax squared plus q. We're going to substitute the point that lies on this graph, which is 8, 0 and 8. We know that that's going to be a q value. Q value is 8. Not so. So you just write q is equal to 8. If we didn't know that, no problem. We do the substitution of 0 and 8. You'll see q to be 8 anyway. So f of x is equal to ax squared plus 8. So what we do now is we substitute another point on this graph, other than what we have used thus far. So you can either be C or B. So I'm going to substitute C, which is 2 and 0. Remembering that's an x and a y. So 0 is equal to 8 times 2 squared plus 8. This is going to be 4. You take it over is negative 4. A is equal to 8. A is then negative 2. Which explains the shape of this graph. Can you see that? So that almost confirms that my equation looks like. Okay, so f of x is equal to, remember, the question was to determine the equation. So f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 8. Okay. Then the question says, determine the equation of G as well. So G is going to be a straight line. The standard form of a straight line is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Okay. So do we have 2 points on this line? Yes. We got B, D, that is known to us. Okay. So how do you calculate M? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is my gradient change in y but change in x. Okay, so it's going to be minus 4 minus 0 over 0 minus minus 2, which is negative 2. Which explains the graph is decreasing. Okay, and it has a c value of minus 4. So g of x is equal to minus 2x minus 4. Five marks, people. It's only if you want it. No? Then it says if G is parallel to your y-axis, okay, or they could have said it's perpendicular to the x, the same. Determine the length of the vertical line FG. Okay, so what do we do to calculate the length of FG? We're going to say it's the top graph, which is the top graph is the f of x graph minus the g of x graph. That's all. But what is your x value on this line? What's the x value on this line? It's going to be 1. So in other words, I can actually work say f of 1 minus g of 1. Okay. So f of 1 is going to be negative 2 into, if I see x, I put a 1. So it's 1 squared plus 8 minus, if I see a 1, x in the g, I put a 1. So it's negative 2 into 1 minus 4. Put that in the bracket because of the negative that is in front of the bracket. So this is going to give you negative 2 plus 8 is 6 minus, it's going to give you minus 6, so it becomes plus 6. So the length of FG is 12 meters. Okay? 6.1.3. says determine the value of the values for x for which f of x is greater than 0. Okay, so if you look at this line here, this is the y is equal to 0 line. Greater than 0 is above that line. The f of x graph is the parabola. So it is where the parabola is above that line. So it's from this point to that point. Do you see that? That the continuous or a breaking solution? Continuous. So we write it together. So x is greater than negative 2 but less than 2. Okay? Okay, so the next one, 6.2, we are told that the equation of the function m of x is equal to a over x plus q passes through the point 3 and 2 and has a range of y is an element of all real numbers and y is not equal to 1. People, if you have this one, we notice that we know what the equation of the asymptote is. Not so? Why? Because this is your hyperbola graph. We have two asymptotes. Okay, and they exclude the asymptote value on your range there. Alright, determine the equation of m. So if you have given this here, we know that that is your q value. So q is equal to 1. So m of x is equal to a over x plus 1. Now to solve for a, we're going to substitute a point that's lying on this line, on the graph, which is 3 and 2. That's an x and a 1. So we have 2 is equal to a over 3 plus 1. Take it over, becomes 1. So 1 is equal to a over 3. We cross multiply, so a is going to be 3. So the equation of m of x, therefore m of x is equal to 3 over x plus 1. Okay. Then the question says determine the equation of n. Determine the equation of n. The axis of symmetry of m which has a positive gradient. So just to give you some, you should have drawn this graph. So this was not, the question was not to draw the graph, okay? But if I should draw the graph, it's going to go through the y is equal to 1 here. So the graph is going to be in that quadrant, and it's going to cut in this quadrant at minus 3. Get your x-intercept, get y equal to 0. So the question that we're referring to here is determine the equation of n of x, the axis of symmetry of m which has a positive gradient. So that is the gradient that's going through here. And the axis of symmetry that's going through here. So this is going to be y is equal to x plus c. Okay? If they had said a negative gradient, it would have been the one going through like that. Okay? Which is y is equal to minus x plus c. But that wasn't the question. The question was with regards to the positive gradient. So y is equal to 1x plus c. Of course, we know that this here is going to be your c value, which is 1. So c is equal to 1. Therefore, my equation is x plus. Okay. Then the question says, sketch the graph of m and n on the same set of axes, clearly showing all asymptotes. Okay, so for 6.2.3, this is what they want. That's what they want you to do. Okay? So, because it's a defined function of n, it's required to have been drawn in a solid line. Okay? Because I now, besides it being an asymptote, not an asymptote, sorry, an axis of symmetry, it's also a function. That is why I'm not going down, I can't draw it with a dotted line, it should be drawn with a solid line. Does it make sense? But if I had drawn it, I would have probably given you the mark anyway. Okay. That's m of x, and that is your n of x. Okay. We're drawing close to the end, yes. Question 7, we are told that the letters chosen at random from the word algebra. There's a probability that you choose that the letter chosen is the letter A. So how many A's are there? There's 2 A's. No? The probability of drawing an A is 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Is that correct? 2 out of 7. A consonant. Consonant is something that's not vowel. No? The vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Not so. So I can't consider the A. So L is a consonant. So there's 1. G, 2. Not E, but B, 3. And R, 4. So there's 4 consonants. There will be 4 over 7. Okay? Next question, 7.2. 7.2, we are told a circular spinner is divided into 12 equal sectors. Okay? Each sector is numbered from 1 to 12. When spun, the spinner has an equal chance of stopping on any one of the 12 numbers. No? Numbers 1 to 12. For any random spin, what's the probability that the spinner will stop on a square number? So, firstly, we need to know what numbers are squared. So, what numbers are squared? Number 1, yes. Number 4, yes. number 9, yes. Number 16? No. 1 to 12, yes. So how many square numbers are there? There's 3. There's 3 out of 12, which is 1 out of 4. Okay. 7.3. The survey was conducted amongst 180 residents at a small town to establish how many people contracted tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, sorry. Which is TB. And or human immunity. Right, I don't know what that is. Virus, HIV. Who can say that word? Right, well done. I'm going to repeat it. During the last 5 years, the results were as follows. So, we have 180 residents in total. So that's your sample, okay? We also to represent the above information on or in a Venn diagram, okay? So we have two. So the sample space is going to be 160 because there's 160 in total. Okay, so we have the tuberculosis, which is TB, and HIV. Huh? What is that? HIV. Okay. X were diagnosed with TB. So that is for both parts. Okay. X is considered for both there. Okay. Even if it said X people were diagnosed with TB only, then the X would have lied here. Did you see that? But since it didn't specify that, so it's in both. 30 people were diagnosed with TB and HIV. So it's going to be 30 there. Not so. 69 were HIV positive. Did it say only? No. So that plus that is 69. So in other words, I can calculate this here. Not so. So 69 minus 30 is 39. Okay. 15 people did not have either disease. So that's going to be on the outside. 51 didn't have any of the diseases. Okay. So this here, this unknown part is actually going to be X minus 30. Okay? You guys understand? So they ask you to represent that information on Venn diagram. Then they ask you to, are the events TB and HIV mutually exclusive? Are they mutually exclusive? No. Why? Because the intersection TB intersection HIV. The probability of that is not equal to 0. Or that set is not equal, n is not equal to 0. Therefore, it is not mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means to say there's no overlap, there's no commonality between the two. Okay, or a common element. Okay. The answer is no. Why? Because the probability of TB intersection HIV is not equal.
Apologies for the
If it is yes, then you would have said that the probability of TB intersection HIV is equal to 0. That's all we say. Okay. Then it says how many people contracted TB only. So in other words, we're calculating X minus 30. Can you see that? Okay. So we say that X minus 30 plus 30 plus 39 plus 51. So all these parts add up to what? 160. Then 180. Okay, now I make a mistake here. Okay, no problem. Sorry about that. 180. Okay. So this is what I need. Okay, so X minus 30 is equal to 180 minus, oops, it's going to be 180 minus 30 minus 39 minus 51. I give you an answer of 60. Okay, so if you had calculated x would have come to be 90. Then you just say 90 minus 30 which will give you 60 anyway. Okay? You guys understand? Alright, the last question. Calculate the probability that the person selected at random. Okay, so we're still on this question. We're calculating the probability that the person selected at random. Can you just fill in here what you can? That is 16, huh? Okay. So calculate the probability the person selected at random will only have been diagnosed with TB. So how many people had TB only? 60. So what's the probability? The number of favorable outcomes over number of possible outcomes, which is 180, which is a third of the people. Not so. Then it says will not have any of the two diseases. Not have any is going to be 51. The probability is going to be 51 over 180. Okay? I think 3 goes into both numbers there. 50 over 180 gives you 17 over 60. Okay? As I said, 3 can go into both those numbers. Okay? The bonus question. We are told that the mean of 3 numbers is 25. The mean of 3 numbers is 25. The second number is 4 less than twice the first number. The mean of 3 numbers. So this, the sum of 3 numbers is divided by 3 is 25. The second number is 4 less than twice the first number. So let the first number be x. So the first number is x. The second number is 4 less than twice the first number. 4 less than twice the first number. Okay? So the second number is going to be 2x minus 1. The third number is 2 more than the fourth number. No. The third number is 2 more than 4 times the first number. The third number is 2 more than 4 times the first number. If the smallest number be x, calculate the numerical value of the smallest number. So that's going to give you 7x minus 2 over 3 is equal to 25. So 7x minus 2, 25 times 3, cross multiply, and 75. Which is going to give us 7x is equal to 77. Which now implies therefore x is equal to 11. Okay? You guys understand? Right, so that basically brings us to the end of paper 1. Okay? Okay, I've printed you the answer book to this paper. No? Alright, so I expect the first half of the paper to be done on Monday. Okay.